Hey guys, welcome to the photo department. This is a pseudo news series segment that will be weekly where I make short form videos talking about what's happening in the film, photography, and art world at large, offering mostly my opinion and then taking some questions from my Discord and Instagram if you guys have questions you want answered. This is the inaugural episode. I don't really have a huge plan. I have some notes like a real news person would, and I'm drinking tea because I do not feel 100 today. First and foremost, the thing that's on everyone's minds, the Kodak price increase for their film. I saw there's rumors online or talk circulating about Kodak prices going up 40%. It seems that that's not the case. It looks like Kodak's price increase will just be 17% across all film products. This information was first broke by Cosmo Photo on their website. To break it down to kind of the basics, it's going to be a 17% price increase across all the film products, but it'll be mostly focusing on a couple of things. One will be the discounts on Pro Packs. Usually when you buy a Pro Pack, like a 5-pack of Kodak Portra in 120 or a 5-pack of Ektar 35mm, you're getting a price discount on that Pro Pack because you're buying 5 rolls of film at once versus buying 5 individual rolls of film. Kodak looks like they're going to be either eliminating completely or bringing that discount down significantly. So there's not really going to be a price incentive to buy a Pro Pack seemingly after the price increase. The other main point was the narrowing of the gap in price between Color Plus and Kodak Gold 200, which are very similar consumer films, and it's looking like they're going to be very close in price, if not the same price after this price increase. This price increase does not happen until March 1st of this year, so if you are hoping to buy Pro Packs of Portra, now's the time to do it. As far as my opinion on this, I'm not surprised. I knew this was coming. Here's the thing. Film was essentially a dead format at a certain point in the early 2000s. Digital had come, it was here to stay. Kodak and other film companies like Fujifilm were ramping down their film production because they saw the writing on the wall. Film is outdated technology, it's going to be replaced by digital. Kodak had announced bankruptcy. Fujifilm had basically told the whole world, yeah, we're getting out of the film business. But then we saw this huge cultural shift where people are much more interested in nostalgia when it comes to art and creativity, and film came back in a huge way. In such a big way, in fact, that Kodak started ramping up film production once again. We have new film companies coming out. We have companies who are repackaging and rebranding existing film. We have companies like Oro and Lomography coming out with new films. So what we have is an industry that was ramping down, stopping production, bringing production to a slow halt. All of a sudden, this industry has a huge uptick in demand, and these companies have to basically scramble to keep up with that demand. Kodak has stated in several different articles over the past year that they are struggling to keep up with demand. In an October 2022 article by Petapixel, it was explicitly stated by Kodak that they had hired over 300 people over the last 18 months to deal with the demand for more film. Kodak also announced that they are upgrading their finishing equipment for film because that seems to be a big stumbling block when it comes to their ability to keep up with demand for film. So we essentially have one legacy company, Kodak, making all of the C41 film for the entire industry. We have Kodak manufacturing consumer films like Gold and Color Plus. We have Kodak manufacturing motion picture film, which is Vision 3. And we have our professional films like Portra and Ektar. Kodak makes all of it themselves. We have a huge uptick in demand, and people are surprised that there's no film on the shelves. Well, you guys keep buying all the film, which is not a bad thing. It's great. This is actually a very good thing because eventually, when Kodak gets to the point where they can handle the demand, when demand plateaus, or when the demand and supply reach an equilibrium, we will then have an evening out or a cooling off of film prices, I believe, and we will then have very readily available film for everyone. But at the current time, there's so much demand, Kodak is scrambling to make this film. And it's your fault. It's definitely your fault because you keep buying film. The long and short of it is this is a good problem to have. It means that Kodak is noticing that they have production issues and they are investing in their production so they could keep up with demand. It's gonna cost money, it's gonna take time, but we're gonna get to a point where there's equilibrium and everyone will be able to have access to good film again. Yes, it does suck that we're gonna have to pay more for Pro Packs And yes, it does suck that Color Plus most likely is going to go up in price. But if you look at this in a more holistic view, Kodak is taking the demand for film seriously, and they're investing in their infrastructure in order to keep up with that demand, meaning they want to meet us where we are. They want to keep making film for us. They want film to be available. If you're truly worried about the increase in film prices, maybe now is a perfect time to invest in a new camera like a Fuji X100V. Maybe not that one. Okay, so I'm gonna take some questions from the Discord in my Patreon. If you want to send in questions to the show, you can join the Patreon and be a member of our Discord. It's super cheap. It helps keep this channel running. This channel is 100% backed by and supported by our Patreon subscribers. We have no sponsors or investors or supporters of this channel other than that. So first question from Rich, good friend of mine. If stand developing in Rodinal is the immersion brewing of film, what is the equivalent of a V60? Normal hand development, I guess. Good question. I don't know. Let's see, another question. Thoughts on all the new color film released or brought to different formats in 2022? Have you tried many, and do you expect more this year? Yes. Kodak bringing Gold 200 to 120 was amazing. I don't care what all the haters say. Kodak Gold 200 in 120 is an incredible film. I did a video about this on this channel. You can watch it up here, where I actually show Kodak Gold 200 and Portra 400 next to each other in the same camera, same lens, same scenes. And I actually talk about how I like Kodak Gold 200 a little bit better. I think that having as many films and as many new formats or as many available formats as possible is going to be really, really helpful. It's going to make it more accessible to more people, and more film can only be a good thing. Thoughts on the Ricoh Pentax film camera project? More broadly, is film camera supply as big an issue as the actual film supply? Film camera supply is not really an issue. The camera supply issue has been overblown. I will say that people do overcharge for used cameras sometimes. It happens a lot. We see camera prices kind of ebb and flow depending on popularity, what camera a specific YouTuber might be shilling that week. It just really depends on what's cool or in vogue in that time period. In general, the film supply is different because that is something that's being manufactured now that supply can't keep up with, and it's also a consumable. Cameras aren't consumables because you buy it once, and unless you break it or sell it, you'll have that camera forever. Film, you buy it, you use it, that film's used, you can't use that film again, so you have to buy more. So we are not in a crisis of available film cameras, not even close, but we are in a crisis of available film. As far as the Ricoh Pentax announcement, I couldn't be more excited. Pentax, Ricoh have made some of the coolest cameras ever to come out. The Pentax 6.7, the Ricoh GR series, the Pentax K1000, and other SLR cameras. Over time, Pentax has just made very, very cool cameras that have been very important to the conversation around film and photography. And I think whatever they come up with next, they could possibly do something very stupid and make something crappy, but I'm optimistic. I don't think that's the case. Twitter drama / IG sucking / YouTube policy shifts made you rethink how you're sharing photos and work? Long story short, yes. Instagram, for me, is a rolling portfolio, and pretty much that's it. It's not really a good place to showcase film or photography and get noticed anymore. I think that ship has sailed a long time ago. I think that having a body of work in the physical realm, like prints, gallery showings, working with brands, is going to have more weight than, how many followers you have on Instagram or who follows you. Twitter briefly seemed to be really having an uptick with the photography community. I think there's a strong community there, but it's also still not great for posting photos. And ever since Elon Musk took over, it's kind of a shit show. As long as there is a free and fair YouTube and I can share my work on YouTube, that's a good thing. And that's all I have to say about that. Let's do one more. How has working in a studio as a day job impacted your personal work? I've had multiple day jobs, studio jobs as a photographer over the years. I will say this latest one had a net negative impact on my work. I was too tired and disgruntled and unhappy to come home and make work in general or work that I was happy with. I did have studio jobs before where I was very fulfilled. I worked at Levi Strauss. That was a really great job, and I think I did some of my best work around that time. So it really depends. If you work a crappy job, it doesn't matter what type of job that is, you're not going to be happy in life. So, and just like any other job, if you work a creative job during the day and it's sucking the life out of you, you're not going to suddenly get off work and have a bunch of life and creative spark. It's just going to like kind of fall flat. The good studio jobs I've had have been invigorating. The bad ones I've had have ruined my life. Hope that answers your question. All right, this has already gone on for too long. Thank you guys for tuning in. Tune in every week for another episode. I don't know what day these are going to be on. I'm going to try to do these very consistently on the same day, same time. We'll see how that goes. But I will say thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day.